Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Freezing temperatures hit the southern tier earlier this week, causing major damage to local farms. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg spoke to Pride Valley Farms about how they handled the freezing temps.
Temperatures got as low as 24 degrees this week, causing havoc on farms and vineyards across the Twin Tiers. Many growers saw large amounts of their crops destroyed by this week's freeze.
In a frost, they get covered with ice, which scars and mars even the perennials. But if you water in the morning and wash the ice off, sometimes that alleviates that. But anything annual, it just melts to the surface. It just freezes it. I don't even know how to explain it. Flat to the soil, they just die and lay right out.
At Pine Valley Farms, they grow a variety of vegetables and beautiful flowers. With their crops at the mercy of the weather's conditions, they have to be prepared for damaging weather.
But we give ourselves time. We know it's coming, so we're prepared to do that. Towards the end of the day of a freeze, we just don't bring any more stuff out for stock out front here. So being an outdoor market, the weather has everything to do with what we do here.
To keep their plants safe, Pine Valley Farms spent hours loading their plants on tractors and storing them in greenhouses safe from the elements. By bringing their plants inside the greenhouses, Pine Valley Farms were able to save most of their plants from the freeze and keep them fresh and beautiful like the ones here behind me. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Horseheads.
19 officers were injured during a 10-day stretch at Elmira Correctional Facility in early May. The New York State Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association say the officers were injured in 3 separate incidents. The incident saw multiple officers punched in the face, one officer put in a chokehold, and another covered in a urine-smelling liquid. All the officers were evaluated for minor injuries and remained on duty. Chemung County's state of emergency will extend. The executive order was made in response to the ending of the immigration policy Title 42. Chemung County Executive Chris Moss declared the state of emergency, his reasoning being that the county could not handle a large influx of migrant individuals. The state of emergency extends until tomorrow. President Biden is now backing a joint effort with allies to train Ukrainian pilots on F-16s. This is a stark turnaround for the president, who earlier had said he didn't think Ukraine needed these types of planes. All this comes as the clock is ticking on President Biden to strike a deal with Republicans to avoid a historic debt default here at home. White House correspondent Peter Doocy has more.
The G7 summit officially kicking off here in Japan Friday morning. In the coming days, we are expecting talks on China, trade, and technology. But day one was all about Ukraine. The G7 backing a new round of sanctions aimed at stopping Russia from replenishing its military. President Biden reportedly endorsing a plan to train Ukrainian pilots on American F-16 fighter jets. And in a surprise announcement, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he'll make an in-person visit to the summit on Sunday, asking for more offensive weapons, not only from the G7, but other world leaders as well.
He wants as much help as he possibly can get, particularly India, who's providing no support, and obviously has a very close relationship with Russia, and Brazil.
At the end of the day today, a lengthy joint statement released on non-proliferation, calling for a world without nuclear weapons. The White House says it supports that vision, but we're not there yet.
A nuclear war should never be fought and can never be won. We maintain that, but we also have to maintain the capabilities.
President Biden also said to be keeping a close eye on the ongoing debt ceiling negotiations back home. The two sides have been striking a more optimistic tone in recent days, though both Republicans and the White House said talks were at an impasse on Friday.
They're on the staff level, sitting down trying to be able to work through details. That's a good thing.
President Biden is expected to hold a rare press conference here on the ground in Japan Sunday, the same day Zelensky is set to visit. In Hiroshima, Peter Doocy, Fox News.
The field of 2024 presidential candidates is expected to grow next week. And it's no surprise, as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been heading toward a formal announcement for some time, taking on Disney, the LGBTQ community, quote-unquote woke schools, and former President Trump. Caroline Shively has your look at the matchup between the friends turned foes.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis speaking to GOP lawmakers in the early voting state of New Hampshire on Friday.
We just completed what I would say is the boldest and most far-reaching agenda that we've seen in the modern history of the Republican Party.
Ahead of a formal announcement next week, a confident DeSantis ramping up the rhetoric. The New York Times reporting DeSantis told major donors, quote, "You have basically three people at this point that are credible in this whole thing, Biden, Trump, and me. And I think of those three, two have a chance to get elected president, Biden and me." But right now, former President Trump has an enormous lead in the Real Clear Politics poll average, 56% to 20 over DeSantis.
He needs to move his numbers in Iowa and New Hampshire at the very least very, very quickly.
With about $68 million behind him, Trump has also found a way to sustain leads in the early primary polls. Though DeSantis has about $115 million behind him, some think he's stalled out in the polls.
He's been a de facto candidate now for weeks, and he hasn't been able to move his numbers, so I'm not sure filing paperwork is somehow going to magically change his trajectory.
More Republicans are expected to join the race, which could favor the frontrunner, but some voters aren't so sure.
Expanding the GOP field in 2024 might alienate some of those supporters, Trump supporters.
Governor DeSantis is expected to file the paperwork to run next week, with a more public campaign launch the week after. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Are you looking for a furry friend to bring into your home? Well, how about two? Our Pet of the Week is back, and this week we have double the fun.
Big Fox News is joined by Paws and Purrs for Pet of the Week. Paws and Purrs is a foster-based nonprofit rescue organization serving all of the southern tier. Today, we're joined by Gino and Maisie, a bonded pair looking for their forever home.
Today we have Gino here, and this is little Maisie. They're both 10 years old. Gino is a poodle mix, and Maisie is a miniature poodle. And these two are bonded, so they will need to go together.
Gino and Maisie would do great in a family home with a fenced-in backyard for them to play in.
And they're both pretty much full of energy. Gino loves to play and he loves people, and so does Maisie here. And a cute little thing that he does is when he wants your attention or he wants food or something, he will stand up on his legs and kind of do a little dance, letting you know that he wants something. Yep, and Miss Maisie here, she loves to be held and she loves to be sitting on your lap.
Both dogs have all of their shots and vet checkups. They're ready to be adopted as soon as the right home is available.
They can go to pawsandpurrs.org. We also have a Facebook page which they can get to the application as well.
Pawsandpurrs.org has a full list of animals available to be adopted. You could bring your new pet home today. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Southern Tier.
Still ahead, we have your weekend forecast. Plus,
new technology is helping amputees feel objects through their missing limbs. I'm Anita Vogel, and I've got that story and much more coming right up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox.